All right, well, it's that time again. Welcome back. And this is where we're going to have a conversation about what it is that champions do. And this is a really important thing to me because we get one chance through life and we've got to make sure that it counts. And that's why I'm so fastidious about this, to being able to bring and cast and kind of remove some of the challenges that we think about and we perceive about what it really takes to elevate our game to a higher level of play. And when we look at the whole concept of what it is that champions do, of course, we kind of define that in our own way. It's that which is important to us. We're not in competition with anybody else. And that's what our time is all about. And the reason why I'm doing this is that I just want to make sure that each day we have an opportunity to make that day count for several things. Number one, to count for us as individuals and our ability to move up the ladder, so to speak, where we're playing at a much higher level of personal potential, whatever that is to us. And when we manifest that, then we are creating a legacy that is our kind of immortal footprint on humanity that's going to be in the cyberspace world indefinitely. And it's a statement about what we did with our time and what we did with our talent. And that's really important for me because there are no redos on this. And the challenge that I see is that, people are willing to do this, but they're not sure exactly what to do. And that's what our conversation is all about. It's about actionable steps that we can take. And kind of I've committed to this, and the way that I shared with you the other day is like, I decided I'm just going to start this. And it's like, I'm just going to push the button and we're going to start. We're going to adjust this basically as we go. And that's what we're doing. And so I've kind of in my own mind now kind of looking at this is we're going to do 100 days together. And each one of those days, I'm going to share with you something that is really relevant in terms of what it is that we can do simply. And if we demystify what this is to start to take control of our life again, then I feel like I will have done my job. And that's what this conversation is basically all about. And every day I'm going to give you a topic to think about and take an action on, just so that you can experience what it's like and what the benefits are, so on and so forth. And what I wanted to chat about today was a really important topic called purpose. When I think about purpose, I think about a core conviction, meaning that the core of my soul has a conviction or an insistence about something. And that something is to pursue and achieve an outcome, whatever that is. It could be taking the trash out. It could be gold medal. It's a way of being where it's purpose driven. We've heard about that, but what does that actually mean? Great idea. And so we're kind of attaching a definition to it where we're going to have a core conviction about pursuing and achieving something, whatever that is. And it's not significant what it is in a certain sense. It's about really learning what that skill is. And so a quick story here. When I was a kid, I was working in a bike shop, and this guy came in and he was wearing a t-shirt. And the t-shirt said USA Olympic Team. And when I saw the t-shirt, it's like I wanted that t-shirt more than I ever wanted anything. And the guy didn't even know that he was wearing it or having an impact on anybody, but he did. It changed my life permanently forever. I went home that day and I got my box of crayons, those boxes that have those 3 levels, and there's in the background, there's the metallics, and there's seafoam green and periwinkle blue in the front. Well, I got out my box of crayons and I got a piece of paper that was really thick, and I drew my plan. And I wanted to become an Olympian. And the reason why I wanted to become an Olympian is because I wanted that t-shirt. I thought it'd be really awesome to wear the t-shirt. It would be it would be significant for me because it would kind of be a statement about what I did and who I was. And I thought that would be kind of a really an amazing aspiration. So I thought about, I want to wear the t-shirt. And so I created a plan for myself. And the plan was like really simple. I was going to be brave and I was going to work hard and I was never going to make an excuse. Simple plan. I was 11 at the time, actually. And I dedicated 10 years of my life to pursuing that aspiration And I did have purpose because the plan that I made had the t-shirt on it. It was a logo. And I looked at the logo every day. And that logo inspired me to get up every day and to pursue something. Again, a core conviction, a soul commitment to pursue something that was of significance to me. Doesn't mean it has to be to anybody else, but it does have to mean something to us. And that's the reason why I'm talking about this. And at the end of 10 years, I did become an Olympian. And it was an amazing accomplishment for a lot of different reasons. And we'll have a lot more to say about that later. But the point is that when we have a named purpose, that we actually name it. It's not nebulous, it's not fuzzy, but we can actually name it. And when we name it, then the mind, body, and soul can embrace it. But if we can't name it with specificity, then the mind, body, and soul kind of don't know what to commit to. And when we talk about mind, body, and soul, we're talking about those three parts that make up us. And we're the conscious observer watching this stuff happen. And our mind, body, and soul, they're always kind of voting on what our aspirations are. And the brain is thinking, the mind, is this big enough for me? And if it's not, then we kind of experience a kind of a demotion and an ambivalence about it. If it's enough, then we feel a level of excitement. Same with our body. Is this enough for us or is it too much? And then we have the soul as well. Is there enough humanity in this? And all of those things sort of make up, and they're voting on what we're proposing to do. And we kind of experience that as green light, yellow light, or red light. Green light, yeah, go for it. Yellow light, meaning blinking, danger, pause, check it out first a little bit more. And red, like emergency brake, like don't go, stop right now, investigate, because there's potential danger here. And that's why this is important. And purpose in my mind is basically everything. And another sort of sidelight to the story here is that when I got on my official Olympic paraphernalia and I took it back to my hotel room as we were in our final processing to get on the airplane. There were like 6 airplanes with 450 people on it from all the sports that make up the Olympics from the USA team. We were in final processing, so I took my suitcases and all my swag back to my hotel room. And it was the first time I ever slept in a king-size bed. Coming from a welfare family, that was something that you sort of heard about, but you never did. And so then I went on a treasure hunt for what? I wanted to find the T-shirt, because I've been waiting 10 years to put the T-shirt on. I mean, that was all I thought about. And I put my suitcase up on the bed and I unzipped it. And then I started going through one of the suitcases. I had, 4 or 5 suitcases and all sorts of other things. And so when I was going through the suitcase here, it has all the Olympic paraphernalia and the graphics on it. And so these were this is my belt buckle, a giant one with USA Olympic team. Well, that wasn't it. I was looking for the T-shirt. And my sweatsuit, nope, that's not it either. Then my parade boots, my travel bag, my camera, blah, 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 blah. And then there it was, the T-shirt. So I picked it up and I set it down on the bed and I kind of pulled it over the edge of the bed and I kind of smoothed it out so I could look at it, as if the guy that I saw 10 years ago was wearing it. And I pulled back and I kind of looked at the T-shirt and I said, man, I've been waiting 10 years for that. And I went to put it on and it's like, I couldn't put it on. It's like, what? You've been waiting 10 years for this and you can't put it on. That's correct. I could not put it on. And the reason why is that it was too sacred. Like, I was the guy that turned the pedals. Yeah, of course. But it was other people's generosity that enabled that to happen. And I felt that that T-shirt was as much theirs as it was mine. And then I had this presence of being that said, put the T-shirt on. Have you ever had that kind of sense about you that you're being told to do something and just the sound of that command was like overwhelming and it couldn't be ignored? And I just, again, I can't do this, man. It's like, this is for other people as much as it is for me. Put the T-shirt on. And so, okay, man. So I went and I put the T-shirt on. And as I was putting the T-shirt on, I started to stand up in a kind of different way. I felt a strength kind of going from my feet up. And why that's relevant is that I came to an understanding why I needed to put the t-shirt on. And the t-shirt I needed to put on because the revelation is that I thought getting the t-shirt was awesome for me because of how it would make me look and how it would make me feel. And I realized that wasn't it at all. The reason for the t-shirt is exactly the same reason why the guy wore the t-shirt that I saw that I was inspired by. It's to show other people what's possible and to call people to a bigger game, to give people purpose like I had purpose. And that's what that was all about. And it did impact, I don't know how many people it impacted. But that's the importance of purpose, a core conviction to get stuff done. It's not just our behalf. Yeah, it validates us. I get that. But it's also showcasing to other people what's possible through a real living, breathing example, not just a platitude of some expert, but some real person that demonstrated for us in an aspirational way. And so when we talk about purpose, what would life be back, and what would the cost be like if we didn't have purpose, if there was no core conviction? What would that be like? Just think about that in your own mind. What would your life be like, and how would you live each day if you didn't have purpose? What would that be like? Like another rerun of Roseanne, another cooking show series, another day of uncertainty and defensive play where we kind of recoil and we sit back and we're not sure, and we kind of feel like the real us draining away. Well, that's possible. That's the cost of non-purpose. And let's look at the other side. Well, also the cost too. What would the cost be, let's say financially, if you were to put a number to this? If we didn't get stuff done because there wasn't enough conviction or purpose to do it, it would have been no Olympic team for me that changed my life forever. And so the numerical side of this, that can be the difference between living the way that you want to live and living in a way that you hope that you would have avoided. And it does sort of come back to purpose. And that's why this is really relevant for me and for you. And what are the benefits if we do live life through purpose that we assign to different things? I think sometimes we think of purpose as being, we got to have this grand overview of it where everything sits underneath this one definition. And I think that's sort of like figuring out your why. I know people that are still figuring out their why 5 years later because they think that it's one why that everything needs to fit under. And maybe we need multiple levels of purpose that are specific to individual tasks that we set in front of us. That's manageable. The brain can collate that. And so when we kind of look at this and we look at our core conviction towards doing certain things, and there's a resonant harmony within us where our mind, body, and soul are aligned with it, it's a game changer. But we need to be mindful of that. It's not nebulous. It's very specific. And it takes a little bit of time to do that, but this is a skill that we kind of need to develop. And so when we do that, and we do come from multiple purposes specific to certain outcomes that we've decided are relevant for us, then all of a sudden our confidence and belief in life and a bigger future becomes real. And as long as we see that and we experience that, then it keeps us in the game ticking away, and we're playing a really good life offense. So what I want you to do between now and our next call, which is going to be 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Uncle Jeff's going to show up 100% because that's the first thing that champions do, is that I want you to think about something that you have on your list to do, and think about your core conviction to start in completing that task. And it doesn't have to be something that you're thrilled about. The magazine covers, live your passion 24 hours a day. That's not possible. We got to do some grunt work every day to keep things moving along. So in everything that we do, what I want you to do today to experience the concept of purpose, because if you experience it, then it's really kind of in your body memory of the process itself where it becomes a little bit more familiar. Just again, take something that's on your agenda, and it doesn't have to be a life passion, because there are things that are non-passion that have got to get done so that we can pursue the passion. That's key on this thing. And so that's going to be your champion's blueprint. Champions do have a blueprint or a structure that they follow to manifest those things that are important to them, that then become milestones for them, provides confidence and certainty that they can actually do it, but it also showcases it for other people. Now, a really important part of this is, how are we going to experience doing that? And there's like two parts to us that are always there. And that's our human nature and that's our champion's nature. We talked about that yesterday. We have a human nature that comes naturally to us. It's part of our biology, and it's a fear-based survival instinct. And we see that in people that moan, complain, gripe about everything. If the world were only better, my life wouldn't be so bad, blah, 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 blah. That's the moan and groan, complaining society. That's like human nature. But we do have a champion's nature that's driven towards creating a life of excellence. And so when we start to do this exercise that will be purpose-driven, so to speak, is that just kind of know that your human nature may say to you, why, you know what to do. You don't need to do this exercise. When the next time you have something to do, you just kind of put yourself there and you'll make that happen. Of course, there's no evidence for that, and history tells us that that's not really true. And then we have the champion's nature that says, no, this is actually a skill that we need to learn, and we need to kind of like dissect this and be deliberate and be purposeful about this. No pun intended. Well, I guess a pun intended. And that way we start to have a contemplative relationship with the process itself, where we're really in a position to start to own that. So just please be mindful of that, because in everything that we do, every moment of every day, we have this tug of war between our human nature, lazy, complaining, don't want to do it, want somebody to do it for us, want to be gifted, want to be entitled to something, blah, blah, blah. And then we have the champion side that wants to take charge of this and make things happen. So our confidence increases and our belief in self to manifest continues to develop a buoyancy in a belief through its application. So that's going to be your assignment for today. This is all like purpose-driven. And again, I will be back here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with our next topic. And what I would suggest that you consider doing as well is that you can invite your friends to join in on this, because I'm giving to you 60 years of my experience of what it takes to start to manifest a life that we are capable of living step by step. And they will tremendously appreciate, with deep gratitude, you sharing this with them, because after all, this is about us, manifesting a life of four things, the big four: passion, purpose, productivity, and also prosperity. So that's your assignment. This is Uncle Jeff signing off. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And be mindful that there's always room at the top for the best. We'll see you tomorrow.